The new day. The new day. The dawn is breaking. The new day. I soon waking. Nighttime now at last is through. A new day waiting there for me and you. A new day. The dawn is breaking. As the planetarium chamber slowly darkened, lecturer Stanley Gardner glanced resignedly around the room. 50 eager 8th grade chins were already upturned in restless anticipation of the Planetarium Show to begin. It would be Stanley's 4th and final show of the day, to be exact, and it had been an unusually busy Saturday at the Science Museum. Oh, well, better get to it, he thought rather grimly. Maybe one of these is the next Newton. You never really know. And with that, Stanley plunged the chamber into complete darkness, resulting in a gasp from the neophyte crowd. "I see a star!" yelled one junior Kepler, as one by one the teenagers began to note the faintly gleaming points of light in the dark vault overhead. "Somebody pushed me!" squeaked a high-pitched voice over to the left. Whether it was male or female, Stanley didn't know or care. To silence the usual brouhaha that always erupted at this point, in the most authoritative voice he could muster after the long day, he began his lecture. And things went well through most of the show. He was quite aware that only a handful of kids were making any real effort to follow the various star and other sky phenomena he was patiently explaining. But if the rest gained even an iota of curiosity about the universe, Stanley figured he'd done his job. And there was always that elusive fun factor, which might lead a young person to come back to the planetarium or astronomy, if nothing else. Such was the life of the planetarium professional who dealt with the student audiences on a regular basis. Sit back and relax, let the stars come out. Sit back and relax, I've got things under control, so relax. Let the stars come out, sit back and relax, I've got things under control. Stanley was not quite through this particular lecture, however, when things began to go wrong. After briefly mentioning the aurora borealis, he explained how, though the stars appeared white, the universe was actually brimming over with color. The most common color in the universe was red. The coolest and the largest of the stars were red. Red is the color of the universe. Red is the color of our lives. With every sunset you will know. With every sunrise when you have to go and go. Red is the color of the universe, I know. On the other end of the universal color spectrum was blue. The largest, youngest, and hottest stars burned a brilliant blue. Blue is inside. Blue can be glad like the colors of sky. Like the colors you and I share. Blue is often sad, but blue can be glad like the colors. Star colors were faint, but nothing was more impressive than the aurora borealis, he concluded, showing vivid colors in the sky. Wrapping up the color segment, Stanley turned to the southern Milky Way, where he always wrapped up the entire show with a galactic grandeur. But suddenly a whoop went up behind his back. "Mr. Gardner, I saw something red," yelled a boy's voice from the back row. "There's another blue one," he said again. Stanley slowly turned around in the darkness. "There's another one, more red and blue." "Red and blue what, young man?" Stanley asked impatiently. This wasn't supposed to happen, and his dinner was being delayed. "The aurora borealis. I saw it," came the shrill reply. "What's there?" "Did you see that? Did you see that?" "I saw it again. I saw it again, my friend. What's there? What's there? What's there?" "Now that will be enough," young Stanley began in a stern voice, but he cut off after he saw something in the corner of his own eye. Was it a flash of blue light? Before he could rest, a loud ooh erupted on the other side of the room. This time Stanley whirled in time to see it too. A quick flash of red light over on the western horizon, followed by a blue one over in the east. The increasingly rowdy young crowd began applauding and gasping as suddenly the entire sky exploded in pulsating red and blue light across the planetarium sky. There's another one, another one. There's another one, another one. There's another one. They're coming too fast. There's another one, another one, another one. There's another one. Mr. Gardner stood stunned, his lighted arrow pointer dangling where he had obliviously dropped it. Stunned because, unlike the wildly entertained children, Stanley knew that the Science Museum owned no aurora projector. Indeed, no projector existed that could reproduce the pulsating light show now unfolding above their wondering, upturned faces. As Stanley stood transfixed, he slowly became aware that the excited kids had now begun whispering about something else. Then he saw it too. The pulsating lights had begun fading into a subtly growing light in the dome's eastern sky. By this time his mind began reeling, and a dizziness was overtaking him. The kids giggled as a cool, fragrant breeze began blowing into their faces. A chorus of crickets chirping could now be heard, giving way to the faint but unmistakable sound of a distant rooster crowing. All at once, a blinding ray of light pierced the eastern horizon, brighter than 1,000 simulated planetarium suns. The rapidly bluing sky watched as the mighty sun rose. Fair winds blowing now, it's coming. Fair winds blowing now, it's coming now. It's coming now. Fair winds blowing now, it's coming. Fair winds blow like a long lost summer now. And as the children happily burbled on, Mr. Stanley Gardner, planetarium professional, settled down at last into a comfortable empty seat and waited breathlessly to see what the new day would bring. Each new day has 1,000 things to see. Each new day has 1,000 things to see. Each new day has 1,000 things to see. Each new day. Tell me what you see. Each new day. Each new day is a miracle. Each new day. Each new day. Each new day is a miracle. Each new day.